Okay guys, we are here again with James from Macdev. He's going to break down the brand new Prime that we got to do that efficiency video on. So yeah, I actually haven't even been able to see the inside of the internals. I know it's been simplified, so I'm gonna stop talking and let James talk, so that way he can show you all the cool stuff that they developed for this particular gun. So just go ahead.
What's up guys? You know, this is due to a huge amount of pressure from
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, people on PB Nation and Facebook, show me. So we're going to get into this. We're going to give you a little insight of what we've done, and I'll explain to you why we've done it and how long it's taking, etc. So
right,
let's get into it.
Let's do it, yeah.
Up with the back cap, out with the drive. Okay, so this is it. This is the drive. Yes, it fits in a Clone 5S.
Okay.
Okay, so the Russians and Uprising have been shooting these for the last season. It's been through rigorous torture tests. We've got players from lower divisions who have just been beating the hell out of it. We've chosen the worst players we can, which is a pretty easy task when it comes to players these days, because players don't want to look after their stuff.
Right, exactly, yeah.
To put this through the worst possible conditions without looking after it and see what can happen, and it has passed amazingly.
And you said it's about 15 cases, right? That you wouldn't even have to lube it. I mean, obviously you want to take care of your gear, but if it came down to it, how many cases could you shoot before you really need to maintain it?
Well, you know, it varies on your climate. If you're in like a nice dry climate or a humid climate, it varies. But
okay.
We called it the Infinity Drive. You probably noticed that on the page if you've been there and had a look and read through
right.
it. But the reason we called it that is because we would strap it to the gun to a big G-size cylinder, and we would set the gun to 20 balls per second, full auto, and then put a rubber band around the trigger. Let it cycle for 15 minutes at a time, and see what we could get out of it. And after 15 minutes at 20 balls a second, it starts slowing down and stopping due to heat, condensation, lack of lube. We can pull this thing out and just re-lube it, and it goes again.
Nice.
So, you know, for those players who, you know, we hear this all the time, throw it in my gear bag, never touch it. Yeah, right. Okay. We know that's not true. People don't just do that. People just seem to say it.
Right, right.
This thing is, I think, as close to as the most reliable drive that is out there at the moment. But not only is it reliable, it shoots nice and smooth.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, you guys saw in the video that, I mean, it's, like I said, it kicks back instead of up. So that way, again, you're keeping that really flat shot. You don't have to worry about, oh, I missed that guy because my gun rose a little bit. You guys might notice that when you're sticking that lane, it starts to rise up a little bit, especially when you're trying to reload and shoot at the same time. Your gun starts wanting to rise up because you don't have that other hand on there. But again, I'm talking too much. Let's get into this, because you guys can, if you haven't seen the efficiency video, go back. We have it up. We got 9 pods out of 3,500 PSI, so we can estimate roughly like 12 to 13 pods off a full 4,500 fill, and this was right out of the box too. So once it's actually broken in and tuned in, you can expect probably, I mean, how many were you guys seeing in testing?
I mean, the guys don't just go out and shoot a case of paint, you know,
right.
and no one really does, and you're filling up between points and X-ball.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, if you can go 2 points in X-ball and not have to fill up,
absolutely,
I think that's good.
Right, right.
I mean, rarely
quick turnarounds. Yeah,
rarely people are going out and shooting a case of paint or whatever these days. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, the guys never complain. They never run out of air.
Good.
You know, they're shooting their whole packs.
Okay.
So yeah, you can expect around the same kind of efficiency. You know, 14 pods or something. Should be, as long as you bore your paint right and everything. And,
right,
yeah.
right.
So anyway, let's get into this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking shop now.
Stop talking.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Okay, so you'll notice that the keg is a bit different than the Clone 5. So it has these holes in it still for feeding the air into the bolt. The back section here, this is a fixed valve. Okay, and then we have our spacer and we have our piston in the back, which holds the detent in place when it airs up. So basically in the back here, nothing is really happening. So to get into the drive, it's probably going to be a very quick video because it's a very simple drive.
I like that though.
Okay, we just split it in half, it unscrews like so, okay, and we have this big nose, which we call it. You'll notice on the inside, before we go down here,
okay,
that in the inside there's a gold part, and that's
right. It's like a little gold cone.
Yeah,
right.
And that helps us with flow paths, etc. The nose helps us with flow paths and restricts it where we want it restricted, and pushes that flow where we want it to flow without wasting any energy. So you'll notice that right here is a big black O-ring. Looks like an O-ring. It's actually a big square section rubber. which is a bump stop. So when the bolt comes back, it's always hitting something soft.
Just to soften it as it comes back.
Yeah, so you don't get any tinging or anything like that. I mean, they have worn out, over the course of the season.
Right.
I think the Russians replaced them once over the whole season.
But O-rings you need to replace, so that's not anything.
Yeah, I look at O-rings like tires on your car. You know, like
Every
you
once in a
drive
while.
them, they wear out.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, just because you have to replace an O-ring doesn't mean it's a bad
No,
thing.
not at all.
So the back does split apart, but I'll show you the inside of it. Okay, it's very simplified. There's nothing really in there.
This is a lot more simple than the clone that I've seen before, so I like that. This is definitely really cool.
I mean, the players, they really asked us, we always, our guns were complex, and it's because that's the way how we would get shot quality and efficiency and so on. So a couple of years ago we started looking at just trying to reduce the O-rings and make it simpler and easier for the players to understand. So the bolt is very similar to the clone bolt. Okay, a few slight changes. There's a different O-ring on there. And
what are the purposes of the slots here? I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's try to bring it down over here. These little not engravings, but just little cuts out of the bolt. What was that?
So that's an airflow. So basically, when the bolt's at the resting position, the gas comes in the side holes here, okay, and comes around through the slots and then follows through here and just fills the whole chamber.
So it's a way for the air to get behind it.
So when the bolt goes forward and the slots run out, there's an O-ring on the inside, which then seals on this area of the bolt and shuts off that chamber, so you're not just continually feeding it air while it's dumping. So it shuts the chamber off,
saving the airflow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it dumps the chamber as the bolt goes forward, and then the solenoid switches and pushes the bolt back. It comes to rest, and the air comes through and fills that chamber again.
Okay.
Yeah. So very, very simple. We have some new materials in there. You'll notice that the bolt tip is black. Before they were red.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've changed materials to try and help with humidity. Places like Florida. Florida actually did a lot of testing for us and was instrumental in seeing if this worked, because Florida is the worst place. I mean, when we previously sponsored Damage, that was the worst place to have guns. And every gun manufacturer has problems in Florida. Not one can put a gun in Florida.
Sand gets in everything.
Sand. There's humidity, there's all sorts of things.
It's a fun place to live. It's
Sounds
really
terrible
nice.
to me. Gators, whatever. So basically this is it. To do service on the gun, you don't need to split this back part of the bolt. I'm just going to put it back together for you. It screws together nicely. Okay, to do service on the gun, you really just take your keg off. Okay, take the bolt off. You clean your keg out. You clean your bolt out. You lube the inside of your keg, you lube the bolt, you drop it in, and you just put it back together, and it can be done in 30 seconds.
So those are really the only moving parts that you need to worry about. These outside O-rings are probably going to last for the lifetime of the gun.
They're all static.
Yeah, because they're not really doing anything than holding air.
So the only O-ring that moves is the one on the bolt.
Right.
The one on the valve, which goes past the slots, kind of falls into an area. It's not moving, it's sliding over. So that's why that's part of the reason it's so reliable, is just we've simplified it so much.
Right. Awesome.
So that's the drive, Infinity Drive.
Super simple, honestly. Super simple.
You will see these coming out. We have a little bit of another release coming, which will involve the Clone 5, and these will come with the Clone 5, and you'll see this probably just before Christmas as well. It'll be a slightly cheaper gun. So you heard it here first on how to play paintball.
There we go. I like it.
World exclusive.
with this, you said that it does fit in. You said the clone was
5.
It was the 5. Is there going to be a separate for people that already have the 5? Is there going to be a way for them to purchase?
We're gonna work on a kit, which will involve solenoid and this to go together.
Okay. So they can just drop it right in and go.
So you're gonna have similar performance to what the Prime is, but the aesthetics and like the ergonomics that you have on the Prime you won't be able to get, obviously. So and lastly, the lever ASA does not fit the Clone 5, unfortunately. We had to change some flow paths and air paths and to make it work. So that's the reason why it doesn't fit on the Clone 5. We're not trying to stop you from having it. We'd love you to have it, but it's just impossible with how we had to lay things out.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know when we did the efficiency test, you were talking about the grips and how they help keep out water and moisture. Can we look at that? Can we look at the internals of that?
Yeah, let's get into the grips next. And you'll probably see a lot of people commenting on the grips who haven't held it, saying they look like plastic. They do look like plastic in the photos. You know, the photos don't really do it justice, but it's actually a plastic skeleton with a rubber overmold. But we worked over the years, you know, like doing soft grips and hard grips, and this combination, this durometer of rubber we've come up with is our favorite for being, you know, hard wearing, long lasting, and we need that with these grips because these grips actually clip into place and have a gutter system to stop paint and water from getting in there, which is really important.
Right.
As a player, like personally, I don't see why you need squishy grips. You know, like everyone wears gloves, and even people with bare hands, they're not slippery.
No.
I mean, and even if you have rubber grips, they are slippery when you shoot paint on them. So,
Right.
I don't really understand the squishy grips side of things that people are saying, but
Yeah, but even these, they still have a grip to them. So they're not slick. So like James was saying, it doesn't necessarily have that. It sort of looks plasticky, but if you guys are at World Cup, you need to come over and just hold it because you guys are gonna love it once you hold it. But the actual grips themselves are, it's like it is a balance. Yeah, it's a texture that hard but soft at the same time. It's that right in between that you need in a gun.
So we built the grips to get the shape right and everything. Obviously we made, you know, the grips first, and then we built the rubber ones, and then after that then we put a texture on it. So we chose a texture which we felt was nice and grippy, but it actually looks slick because it's quite a shiny finished part.
Right. Well, let's look into it because I only see a couple screws on here.
Yeah, let's slide this drive back in first. So first off, you'll notice, sorry, I'm poking the ice. On the OLED side, there's two screws, one at the top, one at the bottom in the middle, okay? And on the other side, there is one screw in the bottom corner.
Right.
So first off, when you assemble this grip, it actually goes into a clip system. So we clip the grip into this side first. So we do away with that screw. So we're taking away part count. Before we had 6 screws holding the wrap around on. So
it's a little bit.
Yeah. So people would take it off, and they would quite often take off the wrong side to replace the battery. And like, oh my God, I took the wrong side off. So they put 3 screws back in.
Right. Or they lose a screw.
Or they lose a screw and they got one side hanging off, and they get shot in. And like, oh my God, I'm shot in the grip.
Right. Yeah, and of course it's always in the pit when you need to change a battery. And those pits are gross. If you guys ever played an NXL, they're usually just paint everywhere and dirt. So finding a screw about that big is going to be tough.
It's impossible. I've done it before, believe me. So now we have the 2 screws on this side. These are the two screws you take off to get the battery out. So you can't take that side off.
Okay.
So it makes you open that wraparound grip on the right side.
Every time.
So every time. These grips snap into place.
Okay.
So that they're really in there to stop the flow of water or paint when you get shot in the frame. And you'll notice in this bottom corner right here, there is like a teardrop kind of milling, and that's how you lever the grips out. You just once you undo those screws, you just get under there and you flip it up. So I'm just going to undo that for you, and you'll see how it's done. So you don't have to undo the top or the bottom first. Either or is okay. Okay. And then just flip your Allen key underneath, and you just flip it up.
Perfect.
Okay.
So you're not going to scratch any circuitry or anything like that, or pull a wire.
So you'll notice that if you look closely, there is a gutter system right here, and all the way around and up and down and around down here. So all those points where you're going to get shot into the electronics, we're trying to guard that with this system where the water or the paint has to travel this way, then down, and then across. So we're minimising that flow path.
Right.
Trying to make it as hard as possible for the stuff that can damage your circuit board to get in there.
Okay.
You'll also notice that the OLED screen is now mounted directly into the frame. So it's rock solid. So it's always located in the right place. You know, sometimes people would, it was taped in place before, and sometimes people would slide it off and it would, off at an angle, and I'd just power a gun on and go, oh man, how can you read this? So it's always in the same place. You can throw the gun around, the OLED doesn't get damaged. It's like totally held in there nice and rigid.
Nice.
Yeah. So I won't take the other side of the grip off because I don't think we need to see
it's
that.
just unscrewing, and then you said
Yeah.
it kind of goes in like that.
It just goes down and snaps into place.
Perfect. Yeah, we don't have to show that.
So when you want to put it back together, you probably hear that little snap. It just snaps into place, and you just screw those things back on. So that's the side that you take off to get into your battery.
Perfect.
You can see how fast it is. Done.
Now, getting into the lever system here, if they do need to service this, or is this something that they'll never need to switch out an O-ring or anything like that?
It's pretty rare. So the way we've done the O-ring geometry in this, I mean, previously in the Clone 5S and the Clone 5, people would sometimes lose the cartridge inside, and I don't know how, because it had an air path that blew away from the cartridge. So either they're shaking it around in their gear bag and it falls out or something. So what we've done now is that the piston is held in by the lever. So you have to undo this screw, which drops the piston out. And then in the back end of the ASA, I'm not sure if you're able to see this, but there is a little silver part which holds the O-ring retainer in there with an Allen key. So we just screw it into place, and then you drop your piston in. And I mean, these things are notorious for just running forever. It's rare that they have a leak. Yeah, since we moved away from the knob that screws an O-ring past a hole, they've been extremely reliable. So we kind of took that used technology and then just added this popular lever, which all the players are asking for now. And I mean, I love the lever. We should have done it years ago, honestly. People have been saying do it, and you know, we finally got round to it. And it's very, very nice. Easy to turn on, easy to turn off. There's no sharp edges on it. So it's got this little kink right here. You can just flip it up.
Yeah, but even if you're diving, you're not going to somehow undo that, because it goes with the flow of where you're going to be going.
Yeah, so even like, you know, when you're hitting the ground, this is, it can't go up and kind of flip it up by accident.
Now the regulator is in the grip, right?
Yep.
Okay, so is it simple to pull out? I mean, where is it that... how is it that they can get to that? I'm sure you don't have to do it often. I know it's
So the regulator's in the grip frame, how it was in the Clone 5 and the Drone 2. It's the same internals that it shares. So it's got the purging adjuster. You know, it's got the same piston, same spring, and the same kind of bottom works assembly that we've used for years. And we've just kept that the same. So the adjustment is right here in front of the frame in the center. To get that regulator out, you just drop this side of the wrap and open it, and you unscrew it with an Allen key. And
that's it. Just comes straight out the front.
Yeah, it comes out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so very fast to get into, very fast to work on.
So you don't have to take an ASA off the bottom and get into something else and pull that out and call your mom and then feed the dog.
Call a tech. You know, get on Facebook. It's really, really easy to work on. So like pretty much everything in the gun is super easy to get into. So we've used as much technology that we've had on hand that's been really reliable, and just put it into this. So if you look at it like an overview, it's really the barrel, the feed tube, and the regulator has all stayed, and then from the ground up, everything else is totally new.
Awesome. Now, what about the vision system? Is that something that you've upgraded, or was it something that it was already good, so there's no point in if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing?
Yeah,
so
we left that. It's I mean, I guess you could say it's the same eyes as the Clone 5, which
I mean, if it works, it works, right?
Yeah, but like digging deeper into that electronic system, we always outsourced our electronics. We had someone else make them for us, and we never understood totally how electronics worked and how to design a circuit board, and we ran into a lot of problems, as other manufacturers do, relying on these people, and you know, when they don't get back to you and they leave you in the lurch. It sets you back. So this season we went back to the drawing board, and we learned how to program boards, we learned how to design boards, and we designed this board from the ground up, specifically for paintball.
Nice.
So everything that you see that goes wrong in a board, you know, moisture problems and paint problems, we've done.
Because it was never meant to be for that kind of a thing.
Well, I guess it was, but we're looking at it from a different perspective now. So this board is very moisture and paint resistant. I mean, you really have to seriously do the worst
jump in
things.
A puddle
I mean,
or a lake. I don't know.
Yeah. It's less prone to having shorts across the tracks and things like that, and we've minimized the count on the circuit board, so it's a much simpler board. It's very difficult to make because of that, but it's we're really proud of this whole gun because I think we're the only manufacturer which has developed this whole thing in-house, from solenoid to circuit board to the gun, the barrel, everything.
Awesome. Does it come with, what comes with the barrel itself with the gun? Does it have any inserts?
Yeah, there's 2 inserts. I think we're changing the sizes this year because paint seems to be getting smaller all the time.
Trying to cut costs.
Cut costs, make it cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think next year probably come with a 602 or something like that.
602, a .48.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, the trigger has changed a lot as well. There's a lot of comments about the trigger from people who've picked it up. It snaps back amazingly, and
I love a snappy trigger. It felt good.
It's very light. You can back that spring out so it's hardly touching, but it still snaps back like there is zero resistance there. So we've built this cradle which drops in, and the bearings are contained on the outside, and there's a pin with a groove in the center, and a screw locates in that groove. So it's almost impossible to assemble that thing wrong, and that contains the spring in that little cradle section as well. So the way you get to that is you drop your frame, you take your wrap off, and you can just undo 2 screws, and that allows you to access this cradle. The other thing we did was we took away all the Phillips head screws in the gun. So previously there was these little M2 Phillips heads, and they're very easy to lose. So we use same threads that we use to hold the solenoid down now, to hold the circuit board down, to hold the trigger cradle down. So it's just rock solid, really, really strong.
Does it still have the those wireless connectors?
Yes, that's a good point that I forgot to bring up. The wireless
when
connectors.
I saw it before, when you guys brought that out, I was like, why has no one else in paintball done this? If you guys have ever taken apart the grip frame from the gun, most of the other guns that I've worked on have wires that go all the way up into the body of the gun, and then you need to make sure that you undo this, and it needs to go out a certain way. And then Macdev came out with one that it's these little. Well, can we
spring pins?
Yeah, those little spring. Can we show it to?
Yeah, we can take this far. I mean, I'd love to say we were the first. I think we were the first ones to do it on a high-end gun, and it seems like everyone else is doing it now. It's fantastic.
It's genius. Yeah.
I mean, once you use a gun which has got this wireless system and you don't have to plug wires in, you just can't go back. You know? So, and I'm sure all the other techs will agree out there from other companies too.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You pull apart an old gun with these wires, and you're like, oh my god, do I have to do this? Can someone else do this?
Yeah. You give it to the new guy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really easy to get into. Just 1/8 Allen key, 2 screws either end of the frame. Okay, loosen them off. And the frame just separates. So,
and you guys can see there's the connectors, and those are the little springs right there. So all the information just goes across, or whatever the gun needs to do with the electronic side, between those 2 things. So if you need to, for some reason, clean inside here, it makes it so much easier. I mean, you could do this in the pit. It's only 2 screws.
Yeah, very, very simple. Previously we had a ribbon going from the board in the frame to another board up here, which we call the body board, or the upper board. So we've done away with that ribbon now, so there's no ribbons in the gun. So this is hard mounted onto the board, so you can't misalign it. Very, very difficult. We've chosen some nice pins which are got a distance apart, which is very difficult for water to short. And yeah, I mean, when you look inside the gun, it's just everything is laid out very simply. So it's tidy. I mean, happy place is a tidy place, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we have 1 O-ring in here. It's just a transfer port O-ring between the body and the frame.
And you should never really need to replace that, right? Because again, that's not really there's no movement.
No, it's just a static O-ring. So the worst problem is that some people they might flick it out by accident and forget about it, and they put it together and it leaks. But
shoot air out.
It's a standard size O-ring you can get anywhere. So
awesome.
Yeah, to put it back in, we just put the front end in first, snap the back end in. I like to hold the body and the frame with my hand and my thumb over the center, and then we just screw the screws back in. As you can see, very, very fast. Easy.
Yeah, if you guys ever remember from back in the day, I mean, even some of the current guns still have it, where you had to make sure that the body wasn't pinching any wires, and you had to push it in, and if it didn't follow a certain area, then you pinched a wire and you might need to go buy a new one, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to ask you is, are these the only 2 Allen keys that you really need to take apart the gun?
There is a couple others. I mean, there's a little screw that holds the lever together,
but for general maintenance, is it just going to be these 2?
We need this one as well to take the regulator out. So there's that one, and we have probably these 4 are really the only ones. I think it's that one from memory. So yeah, pretty much 4 Allen keys for the whole gun.
So for everything, these are going to be the 4 that you need. And even then, I only saw you really use 2 of them.
2 of the main ones, yeah. The 1/8 and 332 are the main ones you'll use just for getting into. There's one more actually, the eye covers. So yeah, there's 5 Allen keys.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
not a big deal.
No, that's nothing. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, James, for walking us through it again. I appreciate you guys even driving down to do the efficiency video. That's actually where I first met them, so I already knew one of their techs before, and James was probably like, what's this guy making us drive out here for? But they were nice enough to do that, so I do appreciate it. But thank you for taking the time to walk us through this. I mean, it's an awesome gun, guys. Like, you really do need to come down and just look at it. If you're coming to World Cup, by the time this video is released, I might be able to get it. Today is Saturday. It is Saturday, right? I'm losing track of days.
I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, I think it is Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully have it up tonight. If it's not up tonight, if you guys are going to be here Sunday for World Cup, you just need to stop by, ask your dealer about it. Your dealer needs to get these in because they're going to be flying off the shelves, so that way you can actually hold it and see how comfy it actually is. But if you guys do have other questions, is there an email or somewhere where they can get in contact with you all?
Yeah, you can contact us through the website, which is macdevpaintball.com. And I mean, if you're considering a high-end gun this season, love you to come and try the Prime. We feel it stacks up fantastic against the other offerings.
Yeah.
By all means, come and check it out, talk to us. We're very proud of this gun. I think it's by far the best gun we've ever put out to market, and we've had a lot of people with a lot of positive things to say about it after checking out World Cup. So
yeah, what have been kind of the comments that you've heard from people when they actually get to see it?
The main thing is the ergonomics. People love the lightness and the way it kind of like falls into your hand. So people pick it up and they love that it's not fat down the bottom of the frame.
Right.
You know, we spent a lot of time with the teams asking what they wanted, and you know, fat frames are something that they definitely did not want. So we made it as thin as we could up the top, and then we kept like a little bit of a lump down the bottom just to fill out the palm of your hand, so it really just falls in and just, it's an excellent pointability. So awesome. You grab it and it feels natural.
Well, James, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. Guys, hit them up. I know that they do team sponsorships as well, so be sure to go to their website if you would like to get in contact with them about that. And just go try it. You're gonna like it once you try it. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.